Let's talk about obesity. Look, we've been talking about, the obesity epidemic. People are getting fatter. We know certainly locking people in their homes for the best part of 2 years probably didn't help that, did it? A lot of people put on, I think the average seems to be about 2 stone, people I know. But it turns out, according to a new study presented by the European Congress of Obesity in Dublin, that must be a whale of a laugh. Imagine the canapes, how rubbish they would have been there. Just lettuce. But obese patients cost the NHS twice as much as those who are a healthy weight. British researchers looked at the health records of 2.5 million adults in northwest London, see how much they cost each year in terms of hospital admissions, GP appointments and prescriptions. And you are looking at a massive difference. £1,375 spent per year on morbidly obese patients with a body mass index of more than 40 and only 638 on those with a healthy weight. Let's talk to Tam Fry, who's the chair of the National Obesity Forum, about this. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, when you look at this, if you're overweight, you cost more than if you're a healthy weight. But I mean, it's a bit unfair, isn't it? Because you look at morbidly obese patients, a BMI, body mass index of more than 40, you are absolutely huge. Well, of course, you're going to be costing the NHS an awful lot of money, more than a healthy person. But most people who are obese aren't morbidly obese, are they?
Yes. I mean, it is absolutely catastrophic what we're going through. You and I have been talking now for 20 years, and we've been talking about the government having done absolutely nothing to prevent obesity, and this is a result. And I'm afraid it's going to go on until the government actually does something.
OK, what is it the government should do? Because look, I think it's people have a duty to themselves, to their children, to their other halves, and to, to other taxpayers, not to be a burden unnecessarily. I would rather that people looked after themselves and lived to a ripe old age in a healthy state. But I'm also of the view that if someone feels the need to or wants to eat themselves or smoke themselves or drink themselves into an early grave, that's kind of their right to do so. It's not for me to say to someone, you shouldn't have that pizza or that piece of cake after a rotten day or a divorce or, living in a horrible council tenement with noisy neighbours and, frankly, the only thing that's getting you through is that extra kebab. It's all very well for me to go, you shouldn't do that. But, what do you want the government to do?
What I want the government to do is actually reform the system which allows everybody to do exactly what they want. And basically, that means better food. The food is the real problem. And until we actually sort the food industry out and require them to manufacture better food, then we will continue to have
There's plenty of good food. There are plenty of, for instance, diet, if someone wants to drink soda. There are myriad diet sodas on the market. In fact, they actually are bestsellers compared to some of the full sugar sodas. There are plenty of healthy things you can buy. People prefer to eat stodgy, high-protein, high-sugar, fat, salt food because it tastes nice.
Yeah, Julia, you're assuming that everybody will be able to buy the better food. One of the things that we have is, unfortunately, a huge number of people who depend on cheap food because they can't buy any better. And it's the cheap food which is the killer.
Cheap food. I'm sorry. Vegetables are actually very, very cheap. Yeah, if you want to buy blueberries and red peppers, they're expensive. But
Julia,
cheap.
You have another problem, and that is that a lot of people can't cook. A lot of people don't know what a vegetable is. They don't know how to prepare it.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the supermarkets being told they need to do healthier food, is it? There are plenty of healthy foods available in even if you're in your local co-op near a sink estate in a very poor area, there will still be vegetables. Even if you're getting tinned ones, they're pretty much just as good for you. They're just as fresh, frozen veg. People choosing not to eat them. Those are available and people can afford them. They're choosing to do other things. Are you saying people shouldn't be allowed to choose those other options?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, in fact, if we had a food system which allowed people to eat healthily...
They are allowed to eat healthily.
So much as well, that's the second thing, people overeating. It's calculated that we eat between 20 and 50% more than we need to.
Yeah. So that's the issue, isn't it? It's not what people are eating.
Which is not necessary for them.
People eat too much. Look, portion sizes have gone up. I completely know kids' portion sizes is what adult portion sizes used to be in the 70s. There's definitely an issue there. But you say you want the government to... What is it you want the government to do specifically?
What I want the government to do is to follow the advice which was given to it 4 years ago by the chief medical officer. And the government commissioned Dame Sally Davis.
And what was that advice?
the advice was to attack obesity in about 49 different facets. She wrote a long document for the government. She described exactly which departments should do what. It's far too long to go into.
Give me number one. We've got like 20 seconds left. Give me one example of something the government should do.
The first one, which was on Dame Sally's list, was the levies. We have a very successful sugar levy. Pardon me?
Make it okay. We've had a sugar levy, and we've had sugar taxes effectively, and people have got fatter.
Yes, the levies actually have worked. The levies have taken sugar out of the system.
So people are just buying more food to get their sugar in.
You cannot solve obesity by one simple thing.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Tam Fry, always good to talk to you, Chair of the National Obesity Forum. He's right, we have been doing this for 20 years, and the problem apparently has got worse.